Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Transport Workers Union Air Division Podcast. Today we're going to be talking to the Future Leaders Organizing Committee, or better known as the FLOC. And I have with me as guests today co-chairs Rachel Armstrong from Local 577, Wyatt Gray from Local 513. Those are the two co-chairs. And then I have the Communications Committee Chairman Jared Gillen from Local 568. And we have Jordan Bravo from Local 510 joining us. He is the Recording Secretary. I'm your host, Brian Parker, and I want to welcome everybody today. Thanks for joining us, everyone.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thank you for inviting us.
Let's start with you, Rachel. Tell everybody about the committee, how it was formed, and why.
I got involved about a year ago. I had met International Administrative Vice President Mike Mays while I was negotiating the Allegiant contract for the flight attendant work group. I'm with Local 577, and I met Mike while we were finishing up the contract, and then several months later, he came to me and said, I want to send you to London with a couple other young workers because we want to look into starting up a young workers committee at TWU. And so I, along with Wyatt Gray and Chris Lampy, went to London and we oversaw the RMT, which is the Rail Maritime Transport Workers in London. And we spent several days just kind of talking with them and seeing what they did. We came back and we regrouped, kind of took what we saw from that experience and developed it into what we wanted to see for the young workers and then the new workers of TWU. So we had our first conference in December in Dallas-Fort Worth, Texas, at actually Local 591. They hosted it at their hall. And it was really awesome. And it was a time where young workers, new workers from all different locals came together and had open dialogue, open conversations about how they wanted to get involved, what they wanted to see from the TWU, and how they really could participate. We held different workshops, training, leadership building activities. And it was really an incredible time, and everyone was super excited. We got great feedback. So that kind of started everything that it is now. Now we've formed our committee this past April, and it's been going really, really well. I'm excited to see where it's going to go.
That sounds great. So let's move on to you, Wyatt. Tell us a little bit about the committee. Where do you want to see this go? What's some of the ideas you have for the committee?
Well, the first things we as a group kind of decided we need to do is start motivating and educating the new and the young workers on what the union is and what we kind of stand for. We feel like there's an area that the people don't understand what the union is and what the union has done for us, what they can do for us, and what they're going to do for us going forward, and why it's important to start getting involved and start learning the process and start learning why the union is important and what the union can do for us. So our first steps are to kind of, hopefully on each local level, start giving room to do workshops or something like a workshop to teach the new people and the young workers why unions are important, like what they've accomplished so far and what they're doing for us and why we need a union against a company or to protect us as workers. And that's going to be kind of the first step, is to motivate and educate the young and new workers on what we stand for as a union and what we stand for as an organization, whether that's a different committee or just you as a local member, that why each of us are important in those aspects. We haven't fully decided, but we want to start doing some activities that can get everybody involved, that can get people, to have some fun and see what it's all about and network with each other to learn. Like Rachel said, we went to England, and those people, they still suffer with the same issues we do as a working class person, even though they're in England, a completely different country. So to network people and to show them that no matter what, we're all on the same page, that we're all struggling with the same stuff when it comes to being a working class person. Okay,
before we move on, you mentioned new and young as far as members. Is there an age limit or anything like that?
Anyone can be involved. We're not trying to segregate anybody, because it's important to everybody that And even as if you're older or you're younger, it's important that the young people start getting involved. We're just the new workers and the young workers, so we haven't had as much experience and stuff like that. And that's why we want to get those people involved. But it's not to segregate from the older workers. We want to just be involved. We want to be able to learn like mentorship and like learn from the people that know a little more than us, that have been experiencing this for years, that have been struggling with the union fight this whole time. So that's the main goal there.
Okay, good. So let's move on to you, Jared. Talk about your position as the Communications Committee Chairman. What's some of the ways you want to communicate with the membership and get more people involved? What's some of the ideas you have?
Yes, so I mean the big picture is young workers, they relate to social media posts, and they focus on networking online more than in person most of the time. So to bring them on board via online social media, it's a great way to get them to come to meetings and get involved.
Good deal. So Jordan, tell everybody why you think, in your personal opinion, why this committee is so important. What's the value for the membership? What's the value for the leadership?
This committee is important because we have a huge retirement wave coming, and a lot of our experienced members are going to start leaving. They're so important. They're the reason that what we have today is what we have, and we can't let that affect us. We have to get into there. We have to learn from them. We're going to have to, take up the steps, and, that's why this committee is really important. I'm glad that we have the group that we have today because, I feel like when we get into the future, the group that we have now, we're going to be set.
So you like the group you have? You like the committee has been formed and the participation so far? You're pleased?
More than pleased. Rachel, Wyatt, Jared. We couldn't have picked any three better people. We have a lot of backing up from the international, and this is, it's a great experience. The past doubts that I had about what's going to happen after our more experienced members retire, I'm really not worried with the group we have now. I feel like we're more than ready for what's going to come for us in the future. That
sounds good. Rachel, if you could go ahead and touch a little bit more on, I know the word mentor has been mentioned, and, Jordan mentioned it. You talk about the divide, or trying to get away from there being a divide between the new and the young worker and the seasoned veterans. Talk a little bit about that, the mentorship, and, and how the relationship's been with the leadership.
Yeah, it's been incredible. Like I said, I started out, I think I was 25 when I became, I got the negotiation position for the Allegiant Flight Attendant Work Group. And I, as soon as John Samuelson, International President John Samuelson came in, it was like, overnight makeover of the TWU. He came and met with us and really listened to what we had to say and what we needed to get in order to complete our contract. And through that, I just saw a changing of the guards and just, like I said, an overnight makeover. And then Mike ended up coming to one of our final negotiations where we closed the contract. And I ended up kind of reaching out to Mike and really seeing that he cared about what my work group was dealing with. And he has been a mentor to me, I would say for sure, as well as Director of Campaigns Nick Bedell and Heather Laverty, the campaign organizer. They've been somebody that's pushed me to be a better person and really made me look at where, who I want to grow into as a leader and how I want to participate and help my local. And so for me, it's been really inspiring to have people like that in the international level that I can look up to, because now I want to be that to other people in my local. I have, pulled people aside, and I've really kind of recruited and looked at people that I'm in my work group and said, you know what, this person would be great at this. I should take them under my wing and start talking to them. And really, this is what I see long term for FLOC, is that we develop a mentorship network where, workers, young workers, new workers, older workers come together, and we develop these relationships where we hold each other accountable, because we've all been there as a new worker, and we've all struggled at the beginning, but we've wanted to be involved. And that's what I see with the new workers, the young workers, is that there's that passion and that drive. And if you don't, come together, and if you don't come side by side with that worker, they become apathetic. They become angry because they don't understand the process. They don't understand why they're struggling. They don't have somebody to come alongside them and say, I've been where you are at, and let me help you. So I've been really just inspired by the relationships that I formed with some of our international leaders, and I want to see that throughout all of our locals. And it's not, I'm not coming to take the job of like whoever is in my local leadership. I'm not ready for that right now. But I want to help them out in whatever way I can. And I have that voice to, when it comes back to like renegotiating our contract, we just got our first contract, but when it comes back to renegotiating our contract, I want to be able to be one of those people that can organize the young workers, the new workers, and have them show up at the picket lines. And that's what this is about. This is about organizing our young workers, our new hires, and getting them involved, getting them to care, and having people in their lives that are really, helping grow them as an individual union worker.
That sounds great. Obviously, I'm not young nor new. I've been around for a very long time, but it's inspiring to hear, the four of you talk openly about what's going on, your vision, your passion. I mean, I can feel it. Let's go back to Jared again. As far as communication, how do you take all this mentorship, this passion, everything that's going on with the committee, and put that out to the members so that they can understand and want to get involved?
Yeah, so I mean, it's definitely difficult after you heard the passion that Rachel Armstrong shares and wanting to get younger workers involved. It's definitely difficult. It's not easy, and we're working on it. We're using social media as a platform because like the younger workers, they relate to that. So we're trying to get them focused on going to social media and finding ways to get involved. We're gonna be posting. Everything that we're going to be doing, we're going to be posting on social media so they could reach out and see what we're doing and come get involved.
Tell everybody what the social media channels are. So Facebook, what else do you have?
So right now we have the Instagram page. It's at TWU FLOC. We're also using the hashtag FLOCITUP. That was Rachel's idea from the first meeting in Dallas. Great idea. And then we just had a new page created from TWU, which is floc.twu.org.
Okay, Jared, what's the Facebook page for the committee?
It's FLOC Conference.
And that's FLOC, correct?
Correct.
Okay, I want to thank everybody for joining us today. It's been a really good conversation. I think it's extremely important that the youth do get involved. And I also think it's extremely important that the older, more seasoned veterans reach out and help the youth get involved. We definitely need to work together. And by working together, we'll get to exactly where we need to go. I'm inspired. Thank you guys for joining us.
Thank you for the opportunity, Brian.
Thanks for having us, Brian.
Oh, no problem. Thank you.
Okay, you guys have a great day. And again, thanks everyone for joining us. Be sure and look out for the next Transport Workers Union Air Division podcast. Have a great day.